So today, what are we gonna do? We are gonna make a really simple lined bag because I love to use little bags to stamp on and do stitcheries on. You can put anything onto them, but just how to make one really, really fast and simple that you don't have to go out and buy all your bags. And this one really is an easy one. And it's really nice because since it is lined, it just feels very, very finished. Okay, we're gonna get started now. So what are we gonna do and need to make this cute purse? This purse happens to be a 12 by 12. And like I said, it is lined. And I just have one handle on it. So what I'm going to do for this 12 by 12 is I have my outside fabric that I have cut 12 by 14, and I have 2 of these. And then what I have is 2 of the inside lining pieces, and they're 12 by 12. So let's say you wanted a smaller bag, no matter what size it is. You want the width to be the same on the lining and the outside. The only thing you want different is the top of the outside of the bag. You want 2 inches longer because we're going to be folding it over and folding it over again to have a finished top edge. And for the handle, I've cut a 3-inch by 30-inch piece, and I'm going to fold it in half and do a side seam down the edge of this. And like I said, if you want to use 2 handles, just do 2 of these. So after you've cut your fabric out, what I do is you're gonna put your right sides together, the outsides of your fabric together, like this, and you're going to put your 2 pieces of lining behind it. And what we're gonna do next is sew a seam down the right side, the bottom, and the left side. Okay, so after we've sewn our pieces, you're gonna have to clip the corners to turn them inside out. Usually I would just use my serger, which does it all for me, but I'm assuming the majority of people don't have a serger. So you clip your 2 corners here, and if it's way too wide here, you definitely wanna trim that up, but I think this is gonna be okay for this project. So now what we're gonna do is work with this top edge. I did end up trimming my sides just a little bit more to make it a little easier. First thing we're gonna wanna do is this 2-inch strip that's extra on the top. I'm gonna take it and fold it over 1 inch. So it's about half of it. And the easiest way, I'm gonna move this over here, is I'm gonna iron this down real quick. And you'll see later, this is gonna make it so much easier. And I'm just gonna kind of press it down just a little bit, like this, and then I'm gonna do it one more time. And just press that down a little bit, just to get a nice straight edge, and we're gonna move it around a little when we turn it inside out. Okay, because you're actually going to have to open this up a little. Take your bag in between your outside and your back side, and you're gonna pull this through. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And then if you trim your edges, you're gonna see your corners are gonna be a little nicer. Now, to do that, go in between your 2 pieces of lining and get something that's not too sharp so it doesn't make a hole in your fabric. And just push these little corners out, just like this. And then I am going to open up the center and take this double folded piece I have and work it around this lining. Just like that. So now I'm just gonna press this flat. And now I'm gonna put him aside for a minute, and then we are going to work on our handle. So what I did is I'm putting this little tube in here, but whatever works best for you, whether you use a little safety pin at the end and put it through, you just need to turn this piece inside out. And once again, if you trim your corners and trim your edges, it makes it a little easier and it's not as bulky when you're turning your handle inside out. I think I just get a little spoiled because I always use my serger, so I don't have to do all the extra trimming. But this really isn't that big of a deal. And something that's not too sharp, kind of get it started here. I'm gonna pull my tube out. Not too bad. Now we're gonna press this flat also. Okay, so you've got your handle and you've got your bag. So what we're gonna do now is I'm taking my handle, and if you can see inside this bag at the seam, this is if you're doing just one handle. I'm gonna take it and put it over the seam in about the center, fold it under just a little bit, and then I'm gonna pin it in place so you know where to sew it to. Now you're gonna bring your handle over, and if you're really good, you make sure it's not crooked, because otherwise you have to take it all the way out. Make sure it's lined up, and once again, same thing. I'm gonna take this edge and fold it under so it looks like it's nice and finished. So at this point, like on the other bag, just for the sake of time, I just did a running stitch on my machine. And then you're gonna reinforce the edges that are holding the handle. So you really need those reinforced if you're gonna ever put anything heavy in it. I usually would hand stitch all of this, so it's really up to you. So let's just get started, whichever way you want to do it. Getting close to the end. So when you're going over these handles, at least first just secure them, I even go over the handle edges. I'm just gonna tack. Actually, I'm doing a whip stitch on this. Then afterward, we'll attach the handles a little more securely. A few stitches here to hold it in place. Okay. So on this, on the edges of the handles, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little box stitch to reinforce it and go over the stitches several times. So I just drew a little box, but you can do an X, you could do whatever you like. I'm gonna start in between the handle and this with my knot, so you don't see the knot. Now I'm going to go down through my first line. Come back up through where I was. Hopefully without stabbing myself too many times. Go back down again, and I even went off a little of my line, but that's okay. Go again. Over. The most important thing is you just want to use some nice heavy thread and make sure it's really reinforced. Nothing worse than having something heavy in your bag and your handle falls off. I think that's pretty good. Then I'm just going to knot it in the back. Do quite a few stitches so it doesn't come out. Okay, so when you're done actually getting the basics of your bag done, then you can decide how you want to embellish it. You know, unless you're already using a printed fabric that you really love. Here was another variety we did. Of course, it's a lot smaller. But all I did is add the 2 inches to the top, fold it over, and to do my lining. And then I did some fun stitches across it, and I used 2 handles. How I did this one where I stamped it, and you're gonna see this on another video, we're gonna be showing something like this. But I made a mask of a heart, and I took one of my really cute IOD stamps and stamped it, and stamped right over that, and I ended up with a really cute heart on this. And then you would wanna heat set it. So whatever you decide to do with your bags, have fun.